And today we're going to make a really fun masculine folio using the Classic Gentleman collection from Little Birdie Crafts. This is the 6x6 pad. I will probably use this as well as the 12x12 papers and the Classic Gentleman journal cards. So I'm kind of making this up as I go. I had a bunch of scraps left over from a previous project. And the first thing you're going to do is find this piece of 12x12 paper that has all the hats, and you're going to cut this to measure 11 3/4 by 7 3/4, and then you're going to score it at 5 1/2 and 6 1/4 to make a little folio cover. Now this paper is so nice and heavy, you don't really have to do much beyond just inking up the edges a little bit. So open this up, and then I want you to find a piece of craft cardstock, and this is going to measure 4 1/4 inches by 7 3/4 inches. And you're going to put this on your scoring tool and score it at 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, and 3. So you've got all these little 1/4 inch score lines. Skip the first one, then pinch the next two together, and then you've got a little space and pinch the next two together. Now take your adhesive, and you can use score tape, you can use whatever your favorite adhesive is, and you're going to flip this over, and you're going to put adhesive in what I call the gutter between those scored panels, and then just put it down and pinch it together again. And this forms a little flap that we will turn into a spine. And if you use score tape, it's going to adhere very quickly. If you use a liquid adhesive like I've used, sometimes it takes a minute for it to set up. But go ahead and score it in both directions like this, because you want these to turn easily. So now you've got these two little mountains, and you've got this little gutter in between, and this is what it looks like on the back. Let me get my adhesive off my table. Okay, now bring in your folio. Make sure you have it right side up. And you're going to take your adhesive, and do you see where the spine area is? This is 3/4 of an inch wide. We're going to run adhesive right along here. And then we're going to line our two scored lines that we did not fold up with our spine, and press that in place. And just burnish that down. Okay, now you can lift this flap and put your adhesive along here, and lift this flap and put your adhesive along here. And if you're using score tape, the advantage is that it seals automatically. So now I'm just going to rebend my spine over that additional paper, and this does two things. It creates a binding for our book, for our little folio, and it also strengthens that spine. So you can see I'm just bending with my ruler, and now look, see? So now we have our cover and we have our spine. And you may need to come in and burnish this a bit. Just spread that glue out really well. All right. Now, I also have 2 pieces of this gear paper that is 5 1/4 by 7 1/8. And again, I've just inked along the edges with a little brown ink just to kind of add a bit of a shadow and some aging, and decide how you want these to be. These are going to be the end papers or the inside covers for our little folio. And see, they're going to go in just like that. But before we glue those down, I had these papers that were left over from a previous project that I had made. And these measure, I wrote it down, I thought. Nope. Okay. These are 5 3/8 by 7 5/8. And then I scored a 1/2 inch and then another 1/8 of an inch on the side. And what we're going to do is on this little flap, we're going to put some adhesive. And we're going to line this up with our end papers like this. Just like that. And I did it so that we still have that extra 1/8 of an inch, because that just helps that page turn. So now it's going to look like this. So now we bring in our book and we put our adhesive on the back of this, like that. And we're going to line this up so that it's even on the top and the bottom. And we do not want to go over our spine, and we don't want to go over our, we want to create an even border all the way around, and that's looking pretty good. So now we have a flap page here. So we're just going to do that same process over here on this side. Just adhere our flap to the back of the page. Oops, I wasn't straight there. Okay. And then this page is going to glue in this way. So your little scored spine is on the outside edge, and your flip is on the inside on each page. So now we're just going to line this up so that we're even and straight. Just take your time. And then burnish it down. So now we have this. All right, now we're going to add a little fun flap page. And I had these left over from another project. These are 12 by like 3 7/8. And I scored them in half down the middle. And I've put score tape here on the bottom edge and on the side here. So for right now, I'm just going to remove the score tape that's on the sides, because this is our automobile and they travel on the ground. We're going to put this on either side of our little flap that we built, just like that. And then I'm going to come in and take that inner piece of score tape off and close it. So now we have like a little pocket. And we're just going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to take the sides off first. And you have to line these up pretty carefully because they just fit. And you can make yours a little thinner if you want. And you don't, the trick is you don't want to adhere over that fold line that you created. I'm going to reach in, find my score tape on the inside, and pull that off, and then adhere these. And with score tape, you always have to burnish to make sure that it holds. So flip this and flip this. And now come in with a good sturdy scissor, which I've misplaced. There they are. Okay. And you're just going to come in between these two flaps and snip. And now, see, these will go in either direction. It's just a fun little trick, but it kind of makes it seem like a little bit more interactive. So that's that page, right? And I couldn't reverse these because otherwise the plane would have been, or the car would have been upside down. All right, so this page. This is a 12 by 12 that I've trimmed to 10.5 by 7 5/8. And I've done the same thing here. I've put adhesive here and here. And also along the bottom. So we're going to come to this second little hinge. And we want to, let me see. Here's our book. Okay, so it has to go this way. And we're just going to line this up one side at a time over our flap that we created. We want to make sure we're straight. Okay, and then we can press the back side to it as well and burnish like this. Then I had, if I can find it, a piece left over from cutting something else. And this is 4 3/8 by 12. So what we're going to do, this will go right down here, like a pull-out page. So now all you have to do is come in and decorate all your fabulous pages. I'll probably cover this with a piece that is, looks like 4 5/8 by whatever this height is that we've been doing, 7 5/8, even with this height. But the width is 4 5/8. So you'll have these little flap pages. This will turn into a pocket. And I have this little piece right here. I just need to trim it down a little bit. This is left over from cutting something else. So I've trimmed this down to be 5 inches. We're going to go ahead and ink it up. I'm going to take a die, a circle die, and cut a thumb hole here because I think it will look nicer. And then I'll just put my adhesive on the side and on the bottom, close that, and we've got a great little pocket. So that's the basics of how you put this little folio together. Uh-oh, and these are two. Well, Actually, I don't mind that. I think we're okay. Okay, all right. So that's the basics of how you put this little folio together. These pages stick out like little tabs, which is fun. If you wanted to, you could come in with a circle punch and And I might just do that, cut a hole and then have a tag sticking out so that it actually really looks like a coin envelope or something like that. But that's the basic construction. And from here, you just use your imagination, finish it off, and make it fabulous. All right, I'll come back and show you what I do in a bit. All right, guys, here we are. I've got it all finished. It turned out really great. I'm so pleased. I kept it simple because I wanted the papers to shine. So all I did on the cover was I took the little Birdie chipboard and I heat embossed it with a rust and a patina oxide embossing powder to make these metallic gears. Then I took real metal gears and just glued them in the center just to add an extra layer of dimension and texture. This, of course, is just the background paper on the cover that we built, and then I added these little die cuts, and the hot air balloon is die cut from one of the 4x6 journal cards. Tucked this little word and another little ephemera piece here. This is Little Birdie twine. This is the flat braided twine, and I love this on masculine projects because it adds the texture and it creates like it just kind of draws all the design together, and just tied a simple bow here. So now we open up. Here's our first flip page that I just decorated with one of the journal cards. And then this opens out like this, and I created a kinetic waterfall feature over here just by cutting my papers. These are 4.5 by 5, I want to say 5 1/4. And the inside is blank, so you can do photos and journaling here. And then on the bottom, I put an image. This little pull tab I made when we cut out this pocket over here. So I'll show you that. And then I put the little mustache on here just to dress up the pull tab. Over here is a large page where you can put a photo. And then here you can journal or put a photo on the back and then just tuck it behind this tuck spot. And then we made these little tag pockets. And I just took some scrap pieces, beveled the corners, added the little derby hat from the ephemera pack to dress those up. So you can put a small photo and then journaling here. So that's that side. And then of course these flip and they're fun because you can go, you know, like a Dutch door. And then this is a 4x6 journal card that I just cut in half and glued part here and part here. So simple. All right, then our pull-out page. Remember, we made our pocket page here, and then this piece, I want to say this is 4.5 by 12, scored it, cut down a journal card to fit here, and then on the inside, we've just lined it with our designer paper, cut slightly smaller. This is, I want to say 4 3/8 by probably 5 7/8. And then room for a large photo and journaling here. So this just slips inside this pocket. And then this flips over. And remember, we had this piece that was left over from cutting something off, and we just added our tape. And then I ran it through my die cutting machine. I used my Dream Cut, and it cut through both layers of this heavy cardstock with one pass, which was amazing. And I created this little pocket. Another cut down journal card with room for a photo or journaling on the back. And then over here, we have our other flip page. Again, this is another one of those wonderful journal cards. This flips out. Here's another kinetic waterfall with room for more photos. This is a 3x4 cut apart. Another little tuck spot with a 3x4 card for journaling and room for a large photo. So even though this is not a huge folio, it has a tremendous amount of space for photos and journaling. These make great gifts. This would be a wonderful graduation gift for someone who's headed off to college. This would be a great retirement gift, birthday gift, Father's Day, any of those things. So anyway, there you go, guys. Have fun with your little Birdie Classic Gentleman papers. And my name is Kathy Clement, Kathy by Design. If you enjoy this video tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. It helps other crafters to find my channel and helps me to grow my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, just click on the subscribe button. below, and every time I post a new project, you'll be notified. So that's it for me. I'm going to go get my craft on. Bye.